Hello, guys. Hello, John. No frogs because it's the day and they only sing at night. So, yeah, pretty good. Um, Fast Eddie says, I am doing awesome, thank you. About to mow, like the lawn, and listen to your live. John Hooper says, oh no, I see. Yeah, it's weird, guys. It's a daytime stream. Very weird, yeah. So, hello, Andre. Hello, Holger. So, yeah, would you guys write in chat one fact about yourself? Kind of like that very annoying icebreaker thing, but not really because I'm actually just curious, like, who you guys are. Like, so maybe just give me, like, something about yourself. But, yeah, the spotlight won't be on you, like in some intro class thing, which is annoying. Okay, so Peter in the Apocalypse says, I am 22. Okay, very interesting. Holger says, I am a polyglot. So is a polyglot, is that like a person who speaks a lot of languages? I forgot. Let me know, Holger. So then Tom says, I'm 33, 6 feet from New York. Amazing. Burton says, I am dead inside. Okay, that's not good, Burton. Hopefully you're joking. If you're not, I'm very sorry to hear that. So then Roscoe says, I am cybersecurity and oh, that's very interesting. That's very interesting. Seems like a very important field. John Hooper says, I am bold. Nice. Although it can backfire at times. Then MMA fan says, I am a giga chat. Fantastic. So Holger says, okay, yes, I got polyglot right. Nice. How many languages do you speak, Holger? And then Andre says, I am 21 from El Salvador. Oh, wow, so cool. Yeah, thank you guys for sharing. This is actually really cool. So then Fast City says, I'm a punk rock, leather spiked, etc., and also a fishing and nature enthusiast as well as a mechanical engineer. Okay, very interesting. Good one, CCL. So then Alex says, hi from Florida. I can speak 3 languages. Were you in the hurricane's path, Alex? And also, what languages do you speak? And then Burton says, no, I'm okay. I got used to that feeling for a long time now. I see, Burton. So then Thomas S. has a question, and he says, is it true that women can tell if I'm trying not to look at them? Well, I mean, it can be quite obvious. You can just like ice someone out and they're kind of like, okay. But first of all, I have to ask you, Thomas, why are you trying not to look at them? Are you trying like not to look at like their boobs or something? Or like what is the situation here? So then Fast Eddie says, I am a MF Texan. Okay, nice. So then Holger says 5 language fluently can get by conversations 2 more. Wow, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, sometimes I watch these videos from people who speak like 30 languages on YouTube. It's like so impressive, amazing. Um, so Dominic D says, how to tell that a girl is a virgin? I want to marry a virgin. Maybe find someone like uber religious, Dominic D. I don't really specialize in identifying virgins. I'm kind of like against marrying a virgin, but if you really want to, maybe go to like a very religious community, like a church, somewhere where women like really believe that it is wrong to explore their sexuality before marriage. So Tom says, do women try to catch men looking at them? Feels like a girl at my office does that to me, but I don't look. Well, I don't think it's like they're trying to catch men looking at them. No, but like if she really liked you, she might be trying to catch your eye. But in general, this is not like a thing. Like women are so desperate for attention that they're just staring at guys, hoping that guys are looking at them. No. Um, however, you know, she could have an interest in you or be watching you for some reason. Yeah. Um, so then Roscoe says, when I'm at the gym, it's hard not to glance and hard not to again and again. Yeah. Um, so Thomas says, no, like she has a really short skirt and it's windy and I'm trying not to look. Can she feel the weird vibe of me trying not to look? Okay. Yeah, she probably can feel the weird vibe of you trying not to look because, to be honest, you're probably not doing like a great job of not looking like, I mean, maybe you are, but she could definitely feel a weird vibe. Like if a guy wants to look and is trying really hard not to look, the girl can definitely catch a weird vibe, like something in the body language is off. So, she might be getting some kind of like spidey sense that something kind of creepy vibes are happening. But that's all you can really do is just try not to look and do your best. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. Just do your best. But yeah, there's lots of times girls get like a weird, creepy vibe and they just keep it to themselves because they kind of know, well, that's what guys are like. So yeah. So then Alex says, thankfully the hurricane didn't hit that hard in my area, and I speak French, Haitian Creole, and English. Wow, it's amazing, Alex. So then hey, philosophy junkies. My man. Alright. Nice to see you. So, alright, so Steven says, tell me, from a female perspective, why would she run after we found Spark with me, no contact, and now moved on, left me, WTF, broken heart. I'm okay, just never got closure. Was it me? All right, so from your comment, she ran, like you guys had a spark, but she left you, no contact, moved on, and never gave you closure. I'm sorry, because that's definitely very hard. Like, I do not do well with no closure. It's really rough. But was it you? It's really hard to say just from that. But I mean, she probably had her reasons for doing it. So, in part, there was probably something you were doing that, you know, she had to get away from. But was it all you? Probably not. You know, I'd have to know more about the situation. Um, so then, okay. So Tamer says, do females ignore you if they like you? First of all, guys, I would recommend calling females women. Like, I really feel like you'll get a lot farther if you just get rid of the word females and you just say women instead. Because, like, it comes off kind of lame. So just say women. But anyway, do females ignore you if they like you? That's definitely a big female dating strategy. So it's quite possible that she likes you and she's ignoring you. For example, if a girl really likes you, she's going to try to make sure you text her first. She's not going to double text. She's going to try to make sure you reach out. So, yeah, in a way, she will play hard to get, or she will just basically wait for you to initiate, wait to feel pursued. So it will come across as like ignoring you. Yeah. So she could like you, but just be really hoping and praying, like in her room, that you're going to text her, you're going to reach out. So to you, it will come across like she's ignoring you. So yeah, it's quite likely. And yeah, if they like you in person, they'll often do the same thing, acting as if they didn't notice you. Yeah, for sure. That can definitely happen. It's not you saying too much. That is 100% a very common, if not the most common, female move. Um, so yeah. Um, so let's see. Best Eddie says women like men that show they have more options than they do. Um, they definitely don't want a guy who's kind of like desperate and has no options. That's for sure. So Andy PDX says, just tuned in. Hi Victoria. Hi everyone. Hello Andy. Um, so Jeff email says, I've been seeing this girl for 6 months and she's starting to pull away. All she does is want to talk on the phone for hours. So had you guys met in person a lot, but now she just doesn't want to meet in person. She just wants to talk on the phone. Um, Let me know, Jeff. Or have you guys not even met yet? So you have met in person, but now all she wants to do is talk on the phone. And when you guys talk on the phone, what does she want to talk about? Like, is she complaining about you? Is she saying like, I'm so busy? Um, yeah, let me know what she's saying on the phone. All right, bye, Andre. Have fun at the gym. So Thomas S says, be honest, how important are looks to women? Should I work on my looks or social skills first? So I definitely think you should work on your social skills first. However, it's never a bad idea to work on your looks as well. But do not focus on looks to the, I mean, I guess really all you can do with looks is just you can improve your style, you can go to the gym, but don't just get like so into the gym that you become like this socially awkward guy who can't ask women out, yet you have a great physique. Okay. I mean, if it really gets really, really, really good, maybe that can pay off, but I definitely think social skills first. You don't need, this bodybuilding like physique. You need social skills. However, work on both, really. So Wicked Wild Hog says, how long does it take for a woman to know whether or not she wants to get to know a man better or just be friends? 3 seconds, 3 minutes, or more. Sometimes it can happen in like 15 seconds, but I'd say more common is like 5 minutes. But the more kind of like sophisticated she gets, the more kind of guys she has in her data, the more she will kind of hone in on what she needs and wants. Like, for example, when I used to go on a date, I definitely knew within like 5 minutes, maybe 7 minutes. But yeah, really, really quick. And sometimes even shorter than that. Sometimes it was literally like 30 seconds. So, yeah. And the basic criteria was I couldn't really put my finger on what it was back then, but it just seemed like certain guys had this kind of like calmness to them. They kind of seemed like masculine versus other guys who seemed super nervous, kind of like twitchy. It was really like the calm versus nervous. And I'm not saying you couldn't be nervous at all because these calm guys, maybe they were a little bit nervous, but it was a very like kind of like I don't know, maybe I could like sense the terror or something or sense like the deep fear, like deep insecurity. So that was really the most important thing. It was just kind of like, did they seem not afraid, not afraid of me, not afraid of women? You know what I mean? I know that's kind of difficult because, like, many of you probably are afraid of women, but that's really important to try to get over that. It wasn't hot versus ugly. That's not what it was. Um, and it wasn't even being able to carry a fluid convo. It was really more like a body language thing. It was like something that was conveyed without words. It was kind of like the energy of kind of like a guy who you could look in the eyes and it's like he's not intimidated. But it doesn't even have to be that. Um, because like I don't want you guys to get this feeling like, oh, you have to never be afraid. You cannot show any fear. You cannot show any shyness. It's not even that. But it was just try to maximize that as much as you can. But if you're still a little bit nervous on top of that, that's fine. I think it might have been just like the deep fear of women that some men carry, unfortunately. Um, the kind of like fear of rejection, the fear of like, not being good enough, the fear of like, what can I offer this woman? Like, what do I have to offer? Like, all those kinds of feelings. I don't know, maybe it just comes out in the body language. But you ideally want to have this feeling of like, I'm not intimidated by her. It's really important. John says, question, it is said that it takes only seconds to know if you're attracted to someone, yes or no. I don't know if you didn't hear, but yeah, like I'd say in some cases it takes maybe 15 seconds. You kind of got to get a sense of like how they talk and how their body language is. So it's going to take, enough time for them to like form a sentence, basically. But, a couple sentences, paragraph or two that they're saying, you can kind of get a pretty good sense. So, DJ Popping says, I like this girl at work, and when I visit her at her desk, she turns bright red. But when I invite her out to do stuff, there's always a reason not to. She's pretty smiley and positive with everyone. So I find her and these kinds of women in general hard to read. What do you think? Well, it seems like if she's blushing, then she's shy. So there could be like a lot of reasons why she's turning you down. I mean, she might have a boyfriend, okay? She might be dating someone. She might be wary of going out with, okay, well, you guys work together. She might be wary of going out with someone at work. Um, she might be celibate right now. She might have some guy she's obsessed with who she's like holding out hope for. Like there could be so many different reasons, but basically she's shy. She's probably kind of like introverted if she's like blushing like that when you talk to her. Um, but those kinds of people can still be smiley and positive, but that's a mask. That's a front. That's them kind of being like a people pleaser, you know, just cheerful and smiley and to everyone. So, yeah, you said you find her hard to read. So, what do you find hard to read about her? Like, why is she smiling and why is she positive, but she doesn't want to go out with you? Yeah, it's probably just her personality. Like, lots of girls have this personality. I mean, girls are kind of raised to have this personality, to be cheerful, smiling all the time, positive vibes only, friendly, making people feel comfortable, making people feel good, being very like customer servicey. And, that's not necessarily what's going on the inside, but that is like the female mask. If you watched my video about the three masks women wear, that's definitely one of them that I talked about in the video. So, yeah, and a lot of guys get confused by girls like this. They're like, "Oh, but she's flirting with me and she's smiling at me and she must like me." No, they're just friendly like that to everyone. It's almost like a fear-based like defense mechanism. Like my best friend, like when we went to college together and like our freshman year, she was constantly smiling. She just had like a smile plastered on her face. And like she would tell me privately, like, yeah, I can't stop smiling. It's basically been like, you know, forged on my face because it's like a fear-based defense mechanism. Like everyone's telling you to smile, everyone wants you to smile, and so if you smile, no one can like, you know, criticize you, no one can get to you, no one can hurt you in a way. So that's definitely like a female culture thing you guys don't know about. Like I really admire like masculine culture because you're just very direct, you're very honest, you're very blunt. You guys can just kind of tell it like it is. That's not really what it's like in female culture. You really have to be like positive. You have to be aware of people's feelings. Like it's very different. So a lot of women just wear the mask, you know? So yeah, DJ Popping says, "Yeah, I figure she might be attracted to me, um, but not interested in going out with me for any of the reasons you mentioned. She says yes to hanging out, but when it gets down to it, she's busy. I asked a couple of times, so I'm just gonna move on." Um, yeah, she could also be like afraid of sex. Like a lot of girls, it's kind of intimidating to go on the actual date because then it's like things get real and they're knowing the guys expect something, expected to lead somewhere. And so they don't even want to go there. Some girls have a lot of like fear about that kind of thing. So, yeah. Um, so Lulu Lala. Very cool. I think you're a girl, Lulu Lala. So she says, let me know if you're not, but I'm just going to say she. So I learn a lot with you, but I'm ashamed of communicating my desires to my partner. Do you have any suggestions on how I can do it? I feel like if I have to tell and ask him, it won't come naturally. Right. Um, I definitely get it. Like, I know this is like a thing, like so many girls. Like, you want him to want to do it. You want to feel like he actually desires you, not that you forced him to follow a script, right? Okay, yes, girl. So, um, the thing is, Lulala, I used to feel that way too, a little bit, but I just completely gave that up. Like, with my boyfriend now, the first time we were together, I just told him straight up. I told him kind of in like a flirty way, but I'm just like, you know what I really like? I really like when guys do this. And I told him like a very specific kink that I had that was like basically the thing I wanted the most. And he was just like, oh, wow. Like, and he just really loved it. And he was like, I can do that. So it really wasn't like as hard as you think. And then it wasn't like I had to teach him every step of the way. He kind of like quickly picked up on the idea and was like, I can do that. I can try something out like that. And he just did it. So I think that you might be like surprised how much men really are so grateful to have some inkling of what you really want and what will really make sex fun for you. So just try it like that. Just be like, you know what I've always wanted to try? Or you know what I'm really into? Or do you know what I really like when I'm on my own and I've always wanted a guy to try on me? And just tell him. And then if he's like, "Oh, that's so hot. Yeah, like I really like that too." Then just be like, hopefully he'll like take the cue from there and you won't have to do much more explaining. But if you do, that's just how it's going to go. Like you really have to do that to create like an experience you really want. You're going to have to tell him because, you know, my boyfriend, he's like an amazing dom, right? But he wasn't sure if that would be like way too forward, too much, if he's going to get thrown in jail, if, he's just going to go way over the top, if he's going to hurt me, if I don't like it at all. Like he's just, you got to give him a little hint. So, Lulu Lala, like, what do you think about that? And is there anything more that I'm not getting that still is like, if you tried it my way, you're like, no, that's not going to work for this reason. Like, let me know what you think. So then Marina, hello Marina, another woman. I'm a woman and I found out for me that trust comes with proof, not with time. It's very interesting for me to think about that. I like that, Marina. It's like, yeah, you need proof. Not just, time, but no proof. Yeah, I really like that. That makes a lot of sense. Like, don't just expect to trust someone. Wait till they actually give you a reason, a legitimate reason to trust them, for sure. So then Lulu Lala says, I'll definitely try your suggestion. Um, I'll just say one more thing to Lulu Lala before I'm going to thank you, Andy PDX. Thank you so much for that. But Lulu Lala, just so I don't forget here, let me, all the guys who are here, let me know in the chat. But wouldn't you rather a girl tell you some like kinky thing, or not even a kinky thing, like maybe just the type of sex that she would really enjoy and that she's really craving? Like, wouldn't you just so much rather her tell you that than you just having to guess, not really knowing if she's liking it or not, having to just kind of fumble around in the dark? Like, I feel like every guy here would just be like, thank you, thank you, you know? And of course, like, don't do it in kind of like a demanding way because that might kind of kill their confidence, but just put it out there, suggest it. You know what I'm saying? What do you guys think? Matasuki says, so confirm it's not a turnoff. Yeah, agree. Yes, I'd rather a woman express all of her wants. Matasuki, yeah, who wouldn't? Yeah, because, like, trust me, when you're getting what you want, you're going to be so much more into it and he's going to get such a better experience because a guy really wants you to truly like it, not just be pretending to like it, not just be putting up with it and hoping that, he finally like does what you want. As long as when you're liking it, you're going to be like so much more sexy, so much more turned on. Your expressions are going to be so different, and the whole experience is going to be so much hotter for him. And he's going to feel so much better. Like, wow, this girl like really likes sex and she really likes me, and I'm like a sex god. And the whole thing is just so much better for both parties. If you're not telling him, it can never be that good. I'm sorry, it can never be that good. So, do you guys agree? So, oh, and let me just say, Andy PDX says, You provide your community huge value. Thank you so much, NDPDX. That's a really, really nice thing to say, and I really appreciate that. Sometimes I really do feel like I'm just doing this because, like, I'm kind of like feeling like lonely and I'm just like kind of rambling into a void. And so that really means a lot that you guys think it's actually helpful and you're getting something from it. And thank you so much for supporting me and telling me that so I don't just feel like I am crazy. All right. Thank you so much, Andy PDX. So then Just Me says, yes, I find so many people on both ends like to explore, which is fine, but positive communication and knowing what a partner likes saves you a lot of time and frustration expectations. Totally. Yasin says, yet there's no confirmation in the feminine world. What does that mean exactly? So Bad Cat says, of course, it would be wonderful to have a girl be open and tell me. Yes. So Lulu Lala, what do you think of all this feedback? Like, are you agreeing or are you thinking, no, because I really want him to just know and to just get it and to just do it to me? Um, Thomas S says, I'd like it as long as she's not trying to humiliate me, like you're doing it wrong, do it this way. Yeah, that's something like I had to learn a little bit. Like you have to be a bit sensitive because if the guy's trying to be all dominant, you could really like kill his confidence. Just he might have like an emotional reaction, like start feeling bad about himself and then he won't really be able to continue. So it's like my boyfriend kind of explained it to me like we play tennis together and sometimes he'll try to give me like feedback and like what I'm doing wrong. And then I started having a reaction to it. Like, don't criticize me when we're playing the game because I'm just, you know, I know you're just giving me like tips, but it's making me feel like not like a winner. Like my head's not in the game. Well, the same thing happens just from the female perspective, like Lululala, like for men, just there's going to be like an emotional reaction if you're too critical and you kind of like try to just it's a little bit like humiliating to them and they'll just have an emotional reaction. They won't be able to like get in the mood anymore. So I agree, Thomas. That's a very good point. John Bauer, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So he says, I really appreciate all of your content and I'm always hoping for more. Wow, John, that's really saying a lot because I feel like I'm posting like way too much because I'm posting like these 3-hour lives and stuff. At first, I wasn't going to post them at all, but then some people were like, oh, just leave them up because like I listen to them. So I just leave them up. But that's really nice of you to say, John. And I really appreciate that. Thank you. So then, yeah, Matasuki says you should do call in. So it's more of a combo. I really need to do that. Yeah, I'd really like to do that. And my brother, I was telling you on the last time, my brother was telling me it's bad to do video call-ins because they could show like some kind of illegal material on the screen, then your channel could get taken down. But just phone call-in should be fine, right? So Yasin says, where are the frogs at? Yeah, it's daytime, so I guess they're asleep. I don't know. Um so Fast Study says, I like trolling from time to time with you, but you have good insight to listen to. Much love, Laura. Thank you, Fast Study. Um So Michael Jones says, I agree. I love it when a woman expresses her want to try something new with me too. These are some of the moments that have been the biggest turn on. Like, hey, this is what I like, but trying new, like trying a new thing. Totally. Totally. That's huge because it's like our kinks, they're real. They're raw. You cannot make them up. You cannot fake them. And so they contain like a untapped power. And when you tap into them, you know, there's nothing like it. You can't fake it. That's why it becomes hot. That is what's hot. So if somebody's sharing with you like their real turn on, that's like liquid, that's like some kind of very highly explosive material. Do you know what I mean? And so you should be like so grateful because it's like, all right, if we're compatible in this respect, now sex can really get good. And if you're just faking it, I'm sorry. You can just do the fake porn moans all you want, but it's never going to be as hot. Okay? And unfortunately, girls do this all too much. And guys often can't really tell the difference, but trust me, there's a difference when she's really turned on versus people pleasing, faking it. So Lulu Lala said, well, it would be nice if a girl didn't have to tell those things to a guy, but it's better to ask than being frustrated in bed. Totally, Lulu Lala. Yes, I do get it. Because like as girls, we kind of have this like hyper, I don't know if it's the same for you, Lula, but for me, it's like we have this hyper masculine fantasy of what guys are. And I tried to explain this to guys, but it's like we really like, if we're straight, like we see guys and we're just kind of like, they have qualities that are so hot that, and they must know how to be a dom. They must know how what women like. But the crazy thing is, a lot of times they don't even see those qualities in themselves. And on top of that, there's a lot of like bro code and male culture things which really keep them from being like a dom in a way that women would really respond to or like. For example, like I had some good examples and I just lost my train of thought for a second. But for example, like if a guy acts like a dom with another guy, well, that's crazy. Like that guy's going to get mad. That guy's maybe going to challenge him to a fight. It's like they're not used to it. They can't do it. And they don't have the experience with women to do it like we imagine they should. You know? There's a lot of like fears that's holding them back. I feel like they see women as kind of like fragile and weak. They don't want to hurt us. They don't want to take it too far. They're most mostly quite, good people. So, yeah, um, we assume that they should know what we like, how to be a dom, and it's obvious. But for the most part, even the best guys with the best skills, they had to learn. It didn't come naturally to them. And if you watch my interview with Sterling Cooper, um, he says the same thing. He said he had to learn. He didn't understand women at all. My boyfriend, he's fucking amazing, Dom, and he's really good at understanding the female gaze. But he was telling me, like, when he was in his 20s, like, he didn't understand girls at all. Like, it took being married, being divorced, a lot more experience with dating, with women to really, like, piece it together. So, yeah. So then, Lulu Lala, oh my God, thank you so much. I really appreciate your tip. That's really kind of you, and I really hope that you just try out telling guys just some of your desires. Just try it out with one because I guarantee you, you're going to get what you want. They want to give it to you so damn bad. And maybe they're not going to be perfect the first time, but they're going to be grateful and thankful that you're into it and you're going to like it so much more. It's going to make them feel really good. So email me, mynonleatherlife@gmail.com, and give me an update on how it goes because I'd be really interested to hear what happens and if it's better for both of you. So, I gotta hide the spam person. So, yeah, and if you guys have any other advice, comments, feedback for Lulu Lala, just let her know from like your perspective as guys. So then Lulala said, "You're right about men. I wish guys knew all the power they have. Indeed, this is something they really don't know. They can't see it in themselves, which is wild. But that's why we're straight. We're attracted to that. And that's why they're not gay, is because they're not, you know? So they don't really see it, basically. I don't know if that made sense, but yeah. All right. Matasuki says, hate the fake porn moans. I can tell the difference too as a sex addict. That's cool, Matasuki, because yeah, a lot of guys cannot tell the difference, but to me, it's quite obvious. So that's cool that you see that. Um, so Matrix Has You Neo says, Victoria, does it diminish the feeling of the kink when you put it in practice? Knowing you told Beardo what to do, I feel like that's what she's worried about. Okay, good question, very good question, but it doesn't. I don't feel like it does. Because you need like two to tango. Do you know what I mean? Like you need someone to participate. And, you know, finding like my exact kink, it's going to be like trying to find the name Rumpelstiltskin. Like it's just so difficult. So he didn't even like I didn't tell him exactly what to do. I just told him what I'm into. And it's like a improv thing, you know, it's like you give the suggestion and they take it and run with it. So I didn't feel like I had literally told him first say this, then do this, then do this, then do this, then do this. But even when I have told him stuff like that, I'm sorry, but it's really good. Like, that's really hot too. So no, I don't feel like it does, but I can definitely like understand that worry because I did feel like that when I was younger a bit. But to be honest, like I think that was because I hadn't fully accepted sex positivity. I hadn't fully accepted like my kinks. I was still ashamed to basically speak up because you know, every time I would like say what I actually wanted, I would feel a lot of mixed emotions. Kind of like shame, like this is wrong, this is bad, this is taboo, this is gross, this is weird. So I feel like for me, it was really just accepting it's not weird, it's cool. And it's great that I know this about myself, and it's great that I can share this. So I feel like that's really, at least for me, what was my real fear about it. So Mandasuki says, Lulala, just tell your hubby, be nice about it and sexy about it. Trust me, it will be the best thing you ever did. I can't agree more. All right. So, all right. Okay, so Enlightened Spirit says, what are some ways to very dom as a man in a relationship to turn my new girlfriend on so she's always, I'm guessing that means wet. Lol, I'll try them out, Victoria, and get back to you if you give me some advice. Well, Enlightened Spirit, this is where I really feel like you should talk to her because everyone is into, let's say she is submissive, okay? There's so many varieties of what someone could be into as a submissive person. So if you really want to turn her on the most, if you really want to make her like always wet, try to understand what she's actually into. Maybe she doesn't know, still kind of have to give her like a sampler. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, has she said to you that she wants you to be a dom? And has she said to you any like movie scenes, any um TV shows, any books, any moments on TikTok, any videos on TikTok where she sees something that she's attracted to. Like, try to get her to share these things with you because when you know what she's into, you can give her that. For example, I really need like a very kind of like intense form of like aggression and like masculinity. My boyfriend has really like amped that up so much for me. In the beginning, he had no idea I was into that. Okay? But now that he knows, he can really like turn the volume way up in a way that he wouldn't with other women because probably some other women they're into different things, different kinds of submissive experiences, okay? So the best way to make her the most wet is to find out what her unique turn ons are. But a lot of girls, they're not going to know completely. So you are maybe just going to have to at least get some sense that she actually wants you to try some things, that she's actually into it. And then you can just turn up the volume just one, two, three, and see how she responds. So, let's see. So let's see. Oh, okay, let's read what Marina is saying here. So Marina says, I think the fact that us women have a hard time asking for our needs directly has been transmitted from generation to generation because in former times we were punished to even have needs and desires. So we tried to get them met in manipulative ways without asking directly for it. It's definitely hard to do that, and we have to relearn that to be direct and clear and tell the guy exactly what we want. 100% Marina, I know what you're saying. I do agree with you. We don't, yes, like I totally agree. I feel like that kind of female culture way of talking, like even to each other indirectly, is probably exactly from that. Like what we had to do in times when we really couldn't be direct. We had to be manipulative. Yeah, and so we do need to relearn how to be direct and clear and like that's something I always try to pick up tips from like from my boyfriend. Like sometimes if a commenter comments something like really annoying on my channel, I'll be like, "How would you respond?" Because I kind of admire that direct, clear, masculine way. I'm like, "But how would I say like I don't like this?" And he'll just tell me. I'm like, "Oh yeah, why didn't I think of that?" Yeah. 100% Marina, it's something we do need to learn. I agree with you. We could learn a lot from like the masculine way in that respect. I agree. So, so Drift King it says big fan. Any more soft dom techniques to try out? Yeah, I think well, thanks Drift King first of all, and then here's some like good soft dom stuff. Um, well, here's a big one. A lot of girls kind of fantasize about. I think it's like if a girl's feeling somewhat upset, you should take like a little strand of hair that's kind of falling like out from the ear and just brush it back behind the ear. Okay, because that's kind of giving this like nurturing, caring DDLG vibe, this kind of daddy mm, vibes, if you will. You know what I'm saying? You're kind of being like just it's kind of like mildly like creepy but hot at the same time. But maybe some girls don't even see it as creepy. They just see it as like truly current caring and nurturing. So that's a good one. Then another one, ask her to sit in your lap. Just be like if she's kind of upset, just be like, come here, sit on my lap, and just really like turn up the babying. Do you know what I mean? Like just be like, oh, I know. Kind of like you would talk to like a child. Okay, that's a good one. Um, Well, let's see. It's a little early in the day to be talking about these soft dom techniques. All right. Um, so Fast Eddie says best soft dom is just telling your sub to get in position and get used to being a sub. Well, Fast Eddie, we don't have the same definition of a soft dom in that case at all because that's pretty intense and that's definitely not soft dom ways in my opinion. But hey, you might have your own definition of it. All right. Um, let's see. So let's see. Another soft dom technique from this guy I think I told you about, and I maybe showed. Um, he's on TikTok. His name is French Brutus. Um, and he had like a really good one. It's not necessarily soft dom, but it just came up to me. Like he was saying, basically, it's kind of because it's kind of like nurturing and for basically her own good. Do you know what I mean? So it has that kind of like DDLG vibes. But he said basically you have sex in front of a mirror and then make her say, like kind of order her to say how pretty she is. Order her to say what she likes about her body. Because it's kind of like this really creepy version of like, you know, empowering her to love her body and accept her body and recognize how beautiful she is. Because if you understand women, you know that a lot of times they are very insecure. Not even a lot of times, basically all the time, they can be quite insecure about their body. And so a man like understanding that and a man kind of like trying to be on their side and to be like, not only do I love your body, I want you to love your body. I thought that was kind of like a genius technique. Um, yeah, this guy French Brutus 4 or something like that on TikTok, like he has some really good tips. You should look at him. Like he's not, you know, a 10 on the black pill scale or anything like that, but like girls love him because he is a dom and he has such a sex positive, accepting, creative attitude towards sex like that. And I really like him too. I'm like, this guy's really good. That's the kind of guy I would want if I wasn't with my boyfriend. So yeah, non-serviam, forced self-appreciation. I love that. Very well put. Very well succinctly put and said. Yeah, because a big part of soft dom is kind of that like nurturing, almost parental idea of like, I'm doing things for your own good. I want you to reach your highest self and I'm going to help you reach your highest self. Do you know what I mean? Wow, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate these tips for life in the buff. The improv idea sounds great, Victoria. If a woman told me the fundamentals of what she enjoys, then I could put my own personality and interpretations into the actions and then follow the flow of her emotions. Perfect. 100% life in the buff. That is exactly what my boyfriend did. I was so impressed with how he did exactly what you're saying. He put his own personality and interpretations into the actions and followed the flow of her emotions. You sound like you would be a great partner in bed. That's exactly what you want to do. You want to put your own spin on it, like improv. Exactly. So, yeah, it didn't come off as like, oh, this is boring. It came off as like, wow, this is creative and fun. And like, I'm stunned at what he came up with. Like, this is genius. Like, literally, I was really stunned with what the first time I was with my boyfriend. I'm like, this guy is fucking incredible actor. Like, what is happening here? So, yes, 100%. And thank you so much, Life in the Buff. I really appreciate that. And then Matasuki, thank you so much. You drop in the knowledge bombs. You really should write a book, not gonna lie. Deep value, keep doing your thing. Thank you so much, Matasuki. You are such a huge supporter to me. I really appreciate you. And yeah. Should I write a book? Yeah. I've been thinking maybe I could write some stuff down. But I feel like I need to just understand like men and like the male gaze, if you will, just a little bit better because to be honest, I had some big and still do, I'm sure, have some big female blind spots. And the more I like understand both perspectives, then I feel like the more I can explain things to guys simply in a way they will truly understand. So I'm trying to just increase my knowledge like a little bit more. Um if only I was like, you know, really like immersed or like born as a man, I feel like I could really explain it really well. But yeah, I'm hoping like I could just write like a really simple version of what I think would be good. So thank you so much, Manasuki. So then Yasin says, we mostly afraid, I won't gonna lie. Yeah. Yeah. This is like something women really have a blind spot about. Like, I'm telling you guys, most and Lulu Lala and um why am I forgetting your name for a second here? Marina, would you agree? Like a lot of times we don't sense that. We don't know how scared you guys are. Um okay, Matsuki says no more excuses, write the damn book. All right, all right. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Make multiple volumes. All right. Thanks for the support and encouragement. Yasin says reproduction is a big deal. 100% Yasin. Reproduction is a huge deal. It's quite fascinating, quite competitive, quite the struggle for, you know, the replication of your genes or whatever. Yeah, huge, huge deal, in my opinion. Everybody's trying to do the best for their offspring, get the best they can get. It's huge. Oh, wow. Thank you guys so much. 247. Tip me. Thank you. Do you think women care about a man's physique? It's like it's kind of a complicated question because it's like, for example, at this point in my life, do I care about a man's physique? No. Like, there's so many things that are more important to me. But, are some women going to care about a man's physique? And can a man's physique overall make him seem just like an appealing candidate? Yes. Like, if a guy has like a really great body, it's not even that he has like a 10 pack or something. It's more just this it's like he comes off as large. He comes off as kind of like imposing. He comes off as kind of like strong. It's like you can't actually see the body, but you can just see kind of like his frame. Do you know what I mean? And it just gives girls like this impression, I think, of like this guy is kind of like a contender. Like if another man, like let's say we're in some apocalyptic scenario and I would be with a guy who could like protect me. So subconsciously it's kind of signaling that. So it's not like they care about I don't think like how well defined your pecs are or whatever. I mean maybe some bodybuilder women are like into it or whatever, but as a whole, like as a large pattern, I feel like if a man's physique makes him look kind of like imposing, strong, then it's a good thing. And it can always help you. However, so it's like, do they care about it at all? definitely is going to help. Okay. And maybe if you're like some Instagram influencer or something, then sure, you want your guy to look good like on your Instagram. So maybe it's more important to those people. But in general, I feel like the things women want, they want to feel those qualities of kind of like strength, protection, and like a physique is kind of one way that you can signal that. But like for example, my boyfriend, he doesn't work out, but it's like he has enough behaviorally that I don't really feel like he needs it physically. Um, and same with like some other guys, it's like their social skills, let's say, could be so strong that that kind of just gives girls like this alpha vibe. It's like he's so cool. He's so popular. Everyone likes it. So it's like don't focus on the physique. Focus on whatever ways you can appear strong, protective, high, I don't want to say high status because not necessarily that, but it's like all these little things like signal strength, signal like, you know, stick with me, baby, and like I will be able to protect you from other men and like in general. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good thing if you have a great physique, but a lot of women don't care. Like they don't really care. Like they want, like a skinny musician who has like no muscle, or they're just into skinny guys, or you know what I'm saying? So I really don't think it has the same importance in women's minds that it has in men's minds. So if you're kind of just thinking, is our looks as important to women as they are to us? I think the answer is no. However, it's not a bad thing. But you know what I mean? What do you guys think? Let me know. Fast Eddie, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And thanks for the devil emoji. Love it. Oh, so Marina, another girl on here, says totally agree. Totally, I agree 100%. All right, Marina, would you like add anything more? Maybe simplify it. What do you think? Physique, does it matter to you? And also, is it number one on your list of most important things? I think most women can agree that's not what's most important to us. We're not saying it's not good, but we're not saying that's the most important thing by a long shot. So, and also Lulu Lala, if you're still on here, let me know what you think as well, and any other women who might be on here and have not revealed themselves. All right. Madasuki says, bodybuilder physique is too much for most women. They don't care about physique like that. It's the confidence that comes with it. I agree. I agree. A bodybuilder physique, it's too much. I agree. Like it would be interesting, but it's definitely not something that I fantasize about or want. While on the other hand, the kind of like behavioral dom qualities are something I'm literally fantasizing about. So I think that says a lot. You know what I mean? Like when I'm fantasizing, it's not about their body. It's really not. And I think that's quite different for most men because they're like, the body, it's so incredible. Like, there's nothing more I need to like need or think about. But for women, that's not what they're fantasizing about. Not at all, in my opinion. I mean, maybe some women. Maybe some. Oh, Jane, another woman here. Thank you. Thanks, Jane. Jane, feel free to weigh in. And all right, so oh, Jane asks, Victoria, may I ask what the noise in the background is? Guys, I guess the frogs have started up. I apologize. Um, so then Toadman says, Mrs. Toad doesn't mind how I look, to be fair. I think she sees me as strong. Certainly the idea of being a weak man is repellent to her. Yeah, Toadman, I kind of feel like that's how most girls are, but what they consider weak might vary. You know what I mean? Like, for example, if my boyfriend never worked out, I wouldn't really consider him weak. Steve Grady, thank you so much. So he says, setting aside physique, the protection aspect bespeaks a guy who is training like boxing, MMA, or other martial arts. The ability to defend a woman. I agree, Steve. I mean, personally, I like that a lot because it does kind of signal like some kind of like masculine testosterone something or other. But I'm not sure, like I feel like so many guys like do MMA and like boxing and stuff that I don't know if it will really like stand out to women, but maybe it will. Let me know, other women. But if you like saw him doing it, I don't know. Maybe it would be different. But personally, I am into the whole MMA thing for sure. I do find that very attractive. And thanks a lot, Steve, and it's great to see you here as well. So then Lulala says, I'd say not exactly a bodybuilder, but having a strong man is awesome. It's good to feel he's stronger than me. Yep. Yep. 100%. That's like really powerful, in my opinion. And then Marina says, I once dated a guy that was much shorter than me. I need this feeling of feeling protected and all that. Even though he was short, his whole character and way of being made up for that. Exactly, Marina. 100%. That's what I wish a lot more guys could understand. That's how I feel too. It's like the character can be so strong. Fuck being short. Who cares about being short? The shortness is not going to matter because there's different ways to succeed in life. You know what I mean? There's social skills. Your social skills can be so strong. There's like negotiation skills. It's like the way I like to think of it is it's like an apocalyptic world. Okay? You're paired up like with your woman or like your girlfriend. Men are kind of like ruling the world in a way because they're stronger and they're more like violent and aggressive. So, how is like the guy you're with gonna protect you and keep you safe? Well, some guys, they just got fucking amazing social skills. They're so cool. They'll make friends. Do you know what I mean? They'll probably like get in with like the good crowd of people who are like hoarding food because everyone likes them. Some guys, they're like strategic. Do you know what I mean? They're very intelligent. And so in that way, they could kind of like help you to survive. Some guys are just going to be like brute force, physically strong. Um they're just going to be able to like manually defend you. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like this in my opinion. Would you other women agree? It's like what qualities, what character strengths would make a difference in kind of like a lawless land of men where women can't really protect themselves so much or in the ways that men can. So it doesn't have to be height. It doesn't have to be looks. However, as we all know, there's some kind of like beauty bias in society where tall men and beautiful people get, more promotions and stuff. So maybe that would do something. But really, you kind of want this like gritty go getter who's not afraid to do what it takes to survive. And I think that's where a lot of like the bad boy, love from women comes in. And yeah, you know what I mean? So then Jane, facing the wind, says, "My boyfriend is stronger than me despite being a bit shorter. I absolutely agree with Marina. It's about charisma. It's about charisma and character." Yeah, um, I agree. I agree, Jane. I wouldn't want a guy who's taller, but kind of like character wise is like weak. I wouldn't care. I'd take like the shorter, stronger charisma and character guy like any day. So, yeah. Ollie, what's squeaking? It is the frogs here. I apologize for that. I know it is quite an annoying sound, and it annoyed me too a lot the first couple days, but I don't even hear them, so sorry about that. Yeah. Um, YOLO, what do you think about men cold approaching during the day? I think that you should do it, but in a respectful way, where if they say no, you back off. But I 100% think you should retain your right to talking to people who you find interesting. However, try to learn a respectful way to go about it. So, hello, Dwayne X. Hello, Gunter. All right, guys. So, Jane Face in the Wind says, question, have you discovered kinks over time you didn't know you had? 100% Jane, I have. Not sure how much I should go into detail here, but 100%, like in the beginning of like my early, like, you know, 18, 19, 20, I didn't really even know I had kinks. Like I knew I was like turned on by certain things, but it's like I didn't really look too much deeper into it. Do you know what I mean? I knew I had fantasies too, but I had pushed them so far down that I kind of like almost like disassociated from them. Do you know what I'm saying? And then I kind of learned I had like one big kink. But the more I started reading other people's fantasies, the more I kind of honed in on what like my true kink was. And it was actually kind of different than what I thought it was. And then as time went on, I have discovered new ones that are even more powerful. And I've kind of left the old ones behind. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't even like do it for me too much anymore. So 100%, you're going to just keep discovering more and evolving, in my opinion. That probably happens for most people. What about you, Jane? Have you? So Ollie says, would you ever coach anyone in field, like speak in their earpiece or something? Well, I would love to actually. And I used to have this club, which I called the Rejection Club. And I basically did that. We would go to different places like Whole Foods, Walmart, different parks in New York City, and different areas about New York City. I mostly did this when I lived in New York City, and then I did it a year or so when I lived in Las Vegas as well. But it was called the Rejection Club, and basically I'd bring these rejection challenges. So it's kind of like outrageous things that are bound to get you rejected, like you know, can like what was like can I trade your deepest secret for $1? Like that one came to mind. But I have like a list of like 100 of them, and actually even more than 100. But I eventually kind of narrowed down the challenges, and one sheet that I would bring was all about challenges for asking people out because I realized, wow, this is one of the main things people need help with. So I would go with them. I would observe them asking girls out because we would partner up. So a lot of times I would go with a guy who wanted to work on asking girls out, and I would observe him, how he approached the girl, if he could approach the girl at all, because a lot of times guys were like too scared to just make the move. So we would kind of work up to it. But then when he came back, I would kind of give him, well, usually I would just be encouraging him, but often like we would all talk at the end and stuff, and I would be giving him some feedback, like try it next time, but don't smile, when you go up and talk to her because you look scared, you look nervous. So, and I would try to force them, you got to ask for the number. Why didn't you ask for the number? Oh my God. So all these kinds of things I did, but I definitely would like to do more of it. So yeah, I would totally speak in the earpiece. Although, I mean, wouldn't it be obvious that they have like an earpiece? Amazing if no one notices that, but yeah, I would totally do it. Natasuki, thank you so much. You should capture that on camera. There is a channel called Social Animal that does just that. Could be an interesting idea. Okay, wow. I'm going to check out Social Animal. And yeah, I have seen other people kind of like I just recently saw a video with 1 million views on TikTok, and he was basically doing like 30 rejection challenges in a row. And I thought it was actually really impressive because he was just kind of like doing all these outrageous things one after the other, like lying down on the floor and asking a group of people if he could, come over and join their group, and just one after the other. And those are all challenges that I did and that the people in our group did too. I was almost wondering like, oh, did he find like my lists? But I compiled them also from different things I found on the web, as well as some of the ones that people came up with at the club. But yeah, he got like 1 million views on that. I'm like, wow. So yeah, I'm gonna check out Social Animal. It would be really good to capture on camera, yeah, because it's really like exhilarating seeing people facing their fears. So I feel like it's fun to watch. All right, I'm gonna copy and paste that for later. Jane Face in the Wind says, would you consider making a video on sapiosexuality? I'm sapiosexual and there's hardly anything about it. I would, Jane, because I'm also sapiosexual, and I think I have a lot to say. Because right now, as you notice, I haven't really made many videos. I'm just doing these lives. Um, but when I get back to making videos, I would like to make videos more about like kink, because I feel like that is really what I could really help people out with. Because I've done a lot of research and have a lot of experience. So then Jane says, yes, Victoria, I have discovered Kink's preferences. I didn't know I had voices, tone, dirty talk, being slightly ignored. That and the inside of my wrist is one of my most erogenous zones. Wow, Jane, that is incredible. Yes, 100%. I have the same thing, like voices, tone, different kinds of dirty talks that I like, being slightly ignored. I could understand that one. That's powerful. And then the inside of your wrist. Wow, that's really amazing. That like you, it takes a lot to like find these things. It's like a treasure hunt. So I'm impressed that like you have compiled them as well, and like I think it's really cool. And it's also yeah, I whatever. Um, so Patricia says, I'm confused. Can we ask questions without paying you money? You can, Patricia. It's just that there's a lot of questions in the chat, or just a lot of like chatting in the chat. And so I don't see every question. So I'm not necessarily ignoring you. It's more just like I'm basically randomly selecting ones that catch my eye or whatever. But yeah, it's just I'm not going like down from the top, if that makes sense. So you can ask it, it's just I might not see it. Hello, authentic truth. So Ollie says, if you could be a man, do you think you would have a high success rate? To be honest, there's in one way I think I would, in another way I think maybe I wouldn't, because in one way I feel like I would have to kind of overcome a lot of my people pleasing tendencies, which I feel is a lot of things that guys who have those tendencies really struggle in dating. But in another way, I think I might be able to pull it off and have a high success rate as a guy because just having been a woman first, I think I really know a lot of like the secret stuff that women don't want to say they're into. And I would just like pull out all the stops on those things. And there's a lot of things that even like a great Dom, like my boyfriend, let's say, like even he would like never do, because he's kind of like, you don't do that like as a guy. It's kind of like guy culture has made him afraid of some of the very things that girls find like most attractive. And so I think that since I never grew up in guy culture, I wouldn't have those things holding me back. Because a lot of times, like I'll try to tell him to do something that I think is really hot, and he's just like, "That would never happen. Like a guy wouldn't say that." And I'm like, "Why not?" And he's like, "Because guys don't do that. Guys don't act like that." And then he kind of makes me aware, like, "Hmm. Well, they should. They would be a lot more successful if they did." But yeah, so I think I could do some of those. I think I could like cut right to the heart of what a lot of women are secretly craving, because every time a woman like says something like, let's say on TikTok, that she finds hot, it's completely easy for me to understand. I 100% understand it. I'm like, yeah, that's fucking hot. I get it. And it's confusing things too that I know that like you guys might be confused by, but it's not confusing at all for me. So I feel like I could use that knowledge to my advantage. So, hmm. So Jane says, question, how to have the courage to go down into the vortex with a new partner after a 10-year dead bedroom and being shamed for one's desire. Damn, that's tough. All right, so you said also had a dead bedroom for 10 years. Owning my desire proudly is scary because I still fear rejection. Well, Jane, maybe just some random commentary on this. Well, I just think like so many guys, it's like their dream, in my opinion, to have somebody who wants to go down into the vortex with them. I mean, that's really special. Like, would you guys agree? Like, if a woman is wanting to basically explore her submissive fantasies, like, that's very uncommon. I mean, it's not uncommon because, like, it can be common, but it's uncommon, like you said, that a lot of women will put it out there and will have the courage to own it and put it out there. And so it's really powerful, and it's like a huge gift, in my opinion, to basically have the courage to just stand up to all the sex negativity, the slut shaming in our society, and be strong enough to kind of offer that to somebody anyway. It's a huge gift. I mean, guys don't have like the sexual opportunities we have. So to have a girl who's like willing to explore and be sexual with them, there's a lot of guys out there who I think like dream of a girl like you. So yeah, it's difficult because you had this abusive relationship. So yeah, that's going to be very hard for you to like climb back out of that, but it's brave, it's strong, and it's going to be like the gift of a lifetime for one lucky guy, you know? So I don't know. What do you guys think of that question? But Greg says, go for it, Jane. Lots of guys would love that. Yeah. Um, Jane says, this is helping so much. Thank you. My boyfriend is patient and kind, but I need to learn everything new. Lucky Prime says, guys want to be pulled into the vortex with you. 100%. Like, so many guys have just had, like, really fake, boring sex, in my opinion. And, like, it's just so rare, in my opinion, for them to, like, really have someone deep and, like, creative and intense who really wants to show them the real deal, like what female sexuality really is, and not just fake orgasms with them, So, um, so Nick says, is it weird for a dom guy to have sub-socially awkward male friends? Not at all, not at all. That's very common, For example, a lot of guys who are a bit more nerdy, a lot of them are subs, a lot of them are doms. It's not weird at all. Totally normal. DJ Poppy says, Jane, sharing this channel with your BF might help you to talk about what you want more easily. I don't know if my videos will really help too much, but yeah. I think you can do it, Jane. Just test out the waters. Dip a toe in the waters. Just throw him a little bone, and if he's the right guy, if he can meet you sexually, he's going to take it and run with it. And then Jane says, yeah, the real deal is kind of dark at times. The real deal is fucking dark. And we have to basically be okay with that among consenting adults because it is fucking dark. And that's completely normal. It's just people don't want to admit this. It is honestly too taboo for people to talk about. So it's normal that it's dark. And I really recommend you read um, this book. I'm going to type it in the comments below because this helped me understand just how normal kink is and just how for thousands of years people have been doing the same thing they do now, which is acting all scandalized and, outraged at these dark things, and at the same time fantasizing about it, like in private, being obsessed with it. And this has been going on for thousands of years. So let's just accept it. It's called A Brief. Wait, is this even what it's called? Well, it's by Peter Tupper. And I think it's called A Brief History of Sadomasochism. I spelled brief wrong. Sorry about that. But yeah, that book is so good. Like when I read that, it all just clicked. I'm like, ding, this is normal. So then DJ Popping says, no worries. I think most men are absolutely clueless. If he's not aware of manosphere content already, this channel will be like opening a third eye, kind of enlightening. Might be the greatest gift you can give him and yourself. Okay, thanks for that. So, yeah. So Brad says, lately I've been feeling that. Oh no. Okay. I have to go in a few minutes, but I'll just read Brad's question. Okay, thank you, Steve Grady. That's what it is. Sorry, I got the title wrong. The real title is A Lover's Pinch, A Cultural History of Sadomasochism by Peter Tupper. Thank you for sharing that, Steve. Have you read it? Because it's good. It's very good. All right. All right, so Brad says, lately I have been feeling that with women, my intentions are seen through, and that if in the initial stage I'm mentally calculating the right thing to say or the right thing to do around them, they feel it and it really turns them off. Therefore, I really have to have initial intentions of just having fun, killing time, enjoying them, if they are or cute or not, Brad. Cute and not calculating and almost approaching it almost brain dead and unthinking, while I'm also socially very proactive, not having any serious social intention. Am I off with this? Would you agree or disagree? Um, I mean, it sounds good to me, Brad. Like, I do think, people can sometimes sense that you have an agenda. Do you know what I mean? And if you're just really having fun and enjoying them, it just comes off so much better. Um, I do think, maybe that's kind of like the next level because, but like, for example, like if you're dancing at a club, I used to go out dancing at clubs a lot and like, it was a huge mistake if guys just kind of like made a beeline for you and started trying to like grab your hips. You know what I mean? It just seems kind of desperate, grabby, needy. Do you know what I mean? But if a guy is just having fun, dancing on his own, and then he kind of makes eye contact with you, and he kind of like does some humorous little dance move, and you kind of laugh from across the room, and then you kind of go back to dancing by yourself, it's like you get this impression this guy is different. He's confident. He doesn't he's not some like desperate guy who's just like trying to swipe at like the fish and they're all swimming away. Do you know what I mean? So 100% I think like having fun, enjoying things is kind of like a magnetic state that does attract people. Like when I was a stripper, I noticed the same thing. It's like the ultimate state to attract like everybody is when you truly are having fun. You truly are happy. How to get there, it was hard, but like sometimes I just truly was happy and in a truly good mood. And then it's like everything is just like water off a duck's back. People are naturally drawn to you. People are naturally attracted to you. So, yeah, like I can totally see what you're saying and it working, you know. I don't feel like you can always do it because sometimes like you have to just ask the person out, but like I totally get it, Brad. Brad says, "Okay, interesting. Thanks for the feedback, Tori, and the rest of you guys." DJ Popping says, "I'm a dancer and I can confirm that your skill level as a dancer doesn't matter at all. It's 100% about your enjoyment." That's really interesting, DJ Popping. Yeah, like I that makes a lot of sense. Like especially like on a club kind of like dance floor. It's yeah, like your skill, yeah, like nobody cares, but like your enjoyment, yeah. That makes you magnetic. It makes people want to dance with you. It makes people want to come over. It makes people not threatened. It makes people not scared of you. It makes people feel you're not desperate. You're not here only to like because you got no one at home. And well, I mean, in the sense of you know what I mean. It's not here because you're not here because like you know you're desperate. In other words, yeah. So that's really interesting, DJ. So then DJ Poppy says, I got more girls before I learned any dance styles just having fun than I did when I learned and did flashy stuff. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, interestingly enough, it's kind of similar like with like stripping, you know. It's like people think that, oh, you got to know all these like pole moves and stuff. Well, the pole moves are like nothing, you know. It's about the energy you're conveying or whatever. Yeah. But if you combine both, it can be great too. Yeah. Good point, DJ. Yeah, Evan Wells once says the dancing thing is tough. I can't dance worth a crap, but also making eye contact and doing a suave dance move isn't really your strong suit when you're not good at dancing. And then how to follow up. Yeah, I agree with what DJ is saying here, Evan, 100%. You don't need to be making a suave dance move. Do not focus on that. I used to have a dance phobia, and I got over my dance phobia, and then I would go out dancing all the time. And so I can confirm as well, it's not about the suave dance moves. It's about just moving, dancing, doing whatever, but then kind of like you're making eye contact because you're having fun. Don't worry about suave dance moves. It's kind of lame, to be honest. It's like, are you in step up two? You know, you're not. Hello, Andrew. Great to see you. Um, my computer's probably gonna die in like 1 second. So, Jane says stripping seems such fun. Jane, maybe you should try it. Quit your day job, Jane. It is a lot of fun. It's dangerous and it's scary, and you will basically get assaulted, but it's a lot of fun. I Yeah. All right, guys, I gotta go, unfortunately, but I don't know how old you are, Jane, but you should do it. All you gotta do, walk in. Jane says, "In what way assaulted?" Well, guys are gonna try to grab you, and you have to deal with that. And you have to tell them not to, but it's gonna happen no matter what, basically. So, yeah. All right. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you guys so much for everyone who tipped me. I really love this conversation. It's so much fun being here with you guys. Email me, mynonleatherlife@gmail.com. Questions, comments, even, or if you want a consultation, I do them. $60 an hour is the rate I charge. But we can talk about whatever you want. We can go into detail with your situation. I can do kind of like an analysis. We can talk about, you know, your dom skills. I can bring in my boyfriend to get his skills. So just email me, mynonleatherlife@gmail.com. And thanks again. And talk to you guys later.